So, around the time of my birthday, along with the fourth season of Bones, one other thing I got was the facsimile of the first Richard Castle book, Heatwave, or at least the first of his Nicky Heat series. And I kind of discovered Castle around the same time I discovered Bones, and similarly for the same reasons. A former Whedonverse star and kind of like a crime procedural. So when I started watching Bones Season 4, I also decided to get back to Castle, as it had been a little while. Castle Season 3 ran for 24 episodes from September 2010 to May 2011. At the end of the previous series, Richard Castle, played by Nathan Fillion, had left the 9th Precinct with his ex-wife Gina Cowell, played by Monet Mazur, in order to rekindle a past romance and stay up at their home in the Hamptons for a little while. Which everyone was a little disappointed about, but they might see Castle again. When Castle does pop up in the middle of another murder investigation, they're forced to consider him a suspect. But then he rejoins the precinct, and they have a good time solving mysteries once again. Once again, you got a great cast, including Nathan Fillion as Richard Castle, Stana Katic, who plays Detective Kate Beckett, Detective Javier Esposito, played by John Huertas, Detective Kevin Ryan, played by Seamus Dever, Dr. Lainey Parrish, the coroner, played by Tamala Jones, Captain Roy Montgomery, played by Ruben Santiago Hudson, and Castle's family, his daughter Alexis, played by Molly C. Quinn, and his mother Martha Rogers, played by Susan Sullivan. Now, there were also a couple of guest stars who did pop up in this season that I was legitimately surprised by. I mean, once again, you got the return of Arya Gross as Sidney Perlmutter, who's once again as great as ever. His cynical personality and dislike of Castle, I really do think he's not in the season much. He's only really in it in one episode towards the end, but once again, I like him as a character. You also get the introduction of a boyfriend for Beckett called Josh Davidson, played by Victor Webster, and the other guest stars who appeared in this season I was legitimately surprised by. During one investigation which involves a bomb that's seemingly being carted around New York for some sort of terrorist attack, they are joined by, I don't know if he's an FBI agent or whether he's just a gruffer cop, but he's named Mark Fallon. He's played by Supergirl actor Adrian Pasdard, which he does work well. I mean, when you ultimately hear why he is the way he is, like, he's angry all the time, and they're just like, yeah, he lost his wife in 9/11. She rode the towers down. And it's just like, yeah, you can understand why a guy like that may become angry and cynical. There's also, partway through the season, they show that they're turning Heatwave into a film, and the lead actress who has been cast in the role is one named Natalie Rhodes, and is played by Laura Prepon. Laura Prepon, for me, is one of those actresses that, I don't know, I guess that she's a good actress because she can make me hate her in a role, but also like her in others. I mean, personally, I've never seen That 70s Show, so I can't make much of a judgment on that role, but I do remember when she popped up in How I Met Your Mother as the girlfriend Karen, and you can tell how unlikable that character was. But then in something like this, while you don't like her at some points, but then you gradually get used to her and see her fully become the character of Nicky Heat, and you're like, yeah, I like her, she's a good actress. The other two guest stars who I was a little surprised to see in here, you've also got Tom Virtue, who I remembered from Even Stevens, who shows up as a judge in an episode, and an assassin played by Dominic Purcell. I mean, this was the late 2000s or early 2010s, so I guess if you needed a thug-type character, you got Dominic Purcell, and once again, he works well. Now, during this particular season, they would have to deal with a load of cases, including a case involving forgery, one that would lead them into the heart of the steampunk society in New York, one involving the death of a magician, one involving a lottery winner who was murdered in his apartment, one in which a body was found inside a New York pizza oven, charred extra crispy, one in which They would investigate the murder of a girl during a beauty pageant, and of course would end with the final episode being about Beckett investigating the murder of her mother and why the people who did it were involved. Now, this would also be the final season that would involve Captain Roy Montgomery, played by Ruben Santiago Hudson, as it's ultimately revealed that he was the third cop in the death of Beckett's mother, and as a result of that, he ends up facing down the other killers and eventually getting himself killed, and he would be replaced next season, with his funeral ultimately being interrupted by another sniper who shoots Beckett. Now, leading to a pretty good cliffhanger for Season 3 into Season 4. I think, overall, my favourite episode this time around would probably be the 12th episode, Poof, You're Dead, which would have Beckett and Castle investigating the death of a magician who was seemingly killed by a water trick gone wrong. And I do like certain parts of it, like when they manage to get a confession out of the murderer by getting fellow magicians to kind of recreate his body, make it seem like he's alive, and the guy's just like, no, I killed you! To which I like that. But once again, I think with Castle, it's not so much whole episodes, alright? Although full episodes are good, but more just small moments. I mean, there are moments throughout. While I couldn't really tell you which story had the best kind of moments, there are small moments that I do like from each episode. Like with Poof, You're Dead, I think one of my favourite parts is right at the very end, when Castle and Beckett just end up going out for comfort food. Or in another episode later on, Beckett ends up inviting Castle down to see Forbidden Planet, which I love that. I mean, I know that the two aren't necessarily in a relationship yet, and they would develop a relationship later on through Season 4 and Season 5 onwards, but I do like seeing just these small moments that show they are legitimately fond of each other. So, yeah, Castle Season 3, I think, once again, is a step up. I know that reviews had it rather middling, but I legitimately do like Castle Season 3, and I do think it's one that people should watch. I mean, Castle is one of those shows that, if you just watch it, I think you'll have a good time. Even if it may not be entirely what you're looking for in terms of grit, it's got enough humour that I think you'd enjoy it. Anyway, that's my quick little review on Castle Season 3, from 2010 to 2011. Anyway, my next one will likely be either first season of Person of Interest or the third season of Once Upon a Time. What do I think of them? Well, I'll have to wait and see. Until next time, see ya.